The story today is called The Matza Man, a Passover story, written by Naomi Howland. Inside Mr. Cohen's bakery, the racks were filled with Passover matzah. The baker rolled out his last scraps of dough. He added a bit here and a pinch there and shaped a little man. He pricked the dough all over, popped it into the oven, and closed the door. Mr. Cohen was busy cleaning up when suddenly he smelt the matzah, almost burning. He hurried to the oven, opened the door, but the minute he did, that piece of matzah jumped out and said, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." And off that rascal ran, past the sacks of flour, between the legs of the baker, and right out the door. "Stop, Matza Man!" cried Mr. Cohen, and he began to chase the little Matza Man. Through the village they ran. A red hen spied the little Matza Man, crisp and crackly, running by. The Matza Man said, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." "Stop, Chip Chip, Matza Man," said the red hen. "You would make a tasty treat for my chicks." The little Matza Man looked at the red hen. He stuck his nose in the air and he said, "I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and canadle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And he went pell-mell over the fence. Cousin Tilly was sampling her tender matzah brisket when the toasty little Matza Man rushed past the door. The Matza Man teased her, saying, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." "Stop, Matza Man," cried Cousin Tilly. "You're the perfect mouthful with my delicious brisket." The little Matza Man wagged his finger at Cousin Tilly and said, "I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and from the red hen, who left eggs in her nest, and canadle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And that little scamp raced off down the road. Aunt Bertha was out shopping in her brand new shoes. She saw the crunchy Matza Man running right towards her. The Matza Man said, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." "Oh, please stop, Matza Man," cried Aunt Bertha. "You would look just adorable on the Passover table." The little Matza Man made a rude face at Aunt Bertha and boasted, "I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and from the red hen, who laid eggs in her nest, from Cousin Tilly and her brisket-filled pan, and canadle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And he scooted around the corner. Grandpa Solly was chopping onions for the special Passover gefilte fish. The onions were making him cry, but he could still see the Matza Man through his tears. There he is. "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran, so clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man," said the little Matza Man. "Stop, Matza Man," cried Grandpa Solly. "You'd be a delectable nosh with this gefilte fish." The little Matza Man put his hands on his hips and bragged, "I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and from the red hen, who left eggs in her nest, from old Cousin Tilly, with brisket-filled pan, and big Aunt Bertha, in heels she ran, and canadle, canoe, I'll run away from you too." And he sped across the bridge. More chasing him. Will he get away? Miss Axelrod was dropping the last matzo ball into her chicken soup when the brown little Matza Man ran past. He shouted, "Hot from the oven, I jumped and ran. So clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." The little Matza Man had such chutzpah, he said, "I've run from the baker, whose matzah is best, and from the little red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old cousin Tilly with brisket-filled pan, and big Aunt Bertha in heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions he's crying, and Canadle, Canadle, Canoe, I'll run away from you too." And zippity-zig, away he ran. Meh, meh. A great goat was pulling tender young radishes out of the garden when he noticed the tasty little Matza Man. The Matza Man stomped his feet and said proudly, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran. So clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." "Stop, Matza Man," bleated the goat. "I would like to have a little bite of you." The little Matza Man laughed and said, "I've run from the baker whose matzah is best, and from the red hen who left eggs in her nest, from old cousin Tilly with the brisket-filled pan, and big Aunt Bertha in high heels she ran. Then Grandpa Solly from onions he's crying, and then from Miss Axelrod matzo balls flying, and Canadle, Canadle, Canoe, I'll run away from you too." And he hurried past the goat. But just at that moment, young Mendel Fox came to the door of his house. What a commotion! Mendel saw the little Matza Man running down the road, chased by the grey goat, Miss Axelrod, Grandpa Solly, Aunt Bertha, Cousin Tilly, the red hen, and Mr. Cohen the baker. The Matza Man looked back over his shoulder and said, "Hot from the oven I jumped and ran. So clever and quick, I'm the Matza Man." "Stop, Matza Man," Mendel said. "I'll help you. Hide behind me." And the Matza Man flattened himself behind Mendel. You see him up here? "They're getting closer," Mendel shouted. "Hurry, get behind the cushion." The Matza Man covered himself with a pillow. "I can still see you," cried Mendel. "They're coming up the steps. Quick, hide here." The Matza Man jumped up onto the table and slipped between the matzah cover. There he goes, into the matzah cover. Mr. Cohen looked around. "Did you see a little piece of matzah run this way?" he asked. Mendel shrugged. Miss Axelrod peeked under the table. The red hen picked up the cushion on Grandpa Solly's chair. No one could find the Matza Man. So one by one the tired guests plopped down in their seats. "Let's begin the Seder," said Mendel. He handed his grandfather the plate of matzah. Grandpa Solly reached under the matzah cover. Snap! The matzah was broken. The plate was passed around the table. "Tasty matzah," the grey goat said between bites. And now the horseradish was making Grandpa Solly cry. He nibbled a piece of matzah. "Ooh, so crunchy and delicious," he said through the tears. "The best matzah we ever ate," agreed Cousin Tilly, Aunt Bertha, and Miss Axelrod. The red hen pecked at her matzah. "Crispy, crispy, crispy." Mr. Cohen smiled. Everyone ate a piece of matzah except for Mendel Fox. He had 2 pieces, and that was the end of the Matza Man. Did you enjoy that story? Okay, come back tomorrow for some more stories. Bye.